what were your thoughts about Ben Johnson going to Chicago? I already did a video. I'm quite sure you saw it on my TikTok.
Yes.
Um, he's got something to prove with this offense because again, quarterback with Caleb Williams, really talented young quarterback, but was sacked a lot of times this season. I think it was like over 60. So, hey,
Mhm.
as you often said, quarterback can't throw behind his back, but at the same time, he holds on to the football a little too long, though. I do like it for Ben Johnson because, again, let me start off with a young team with potential. Maybe I'll come up with a game plan to put my quarterback in the best type of situation to succeed. Hopefully, it'll help him get the ball out quicker. It's surprising though that he went to Chicago. I thought he could have went somewhere else in the NFC or in the AFC. But hey, Chicago probably offered him more money than we don't know. And look, Chicago, they got to do something because again, you moved on from Justin Fields. Now you got Caleb Williams as your quarterback. I'm quite sure the GM, he's on the hot seat. They had to move on from Matt Eberflus. And again, if you don't work out with Caleb Williams, I don't know what will. Because you when's the last time the Bears actually had a good quarterback or a competent quarterback? I mean, you have to go back to what Jay Cutler, who at that point was the epitome of Jeff George, someone that you do not like at all, champ.
A rich man's Jeff George, by the way. I would say he was a little bit better than Jeff George. He at least made the Pro Bowl that year when they went to the NFC Championship.
hmm
But yeah, him and Jim McMahon. So, hey, what I like about Chicago is they're proving that they're just not going to stick with that old formula. That old formula of defense, defense, defense. It's not going to win now. It's already been proven. You tried that with Mitch Trubisky when you had that stifling defense with Raekwon Smith and company up there, and you couldn't generate enough offense in order to get past certain teams. You lost in the wild card round. So this is before Raekwon Smith went to Baltimore. You had a solid nucleus up there with those guys, and guess what? The game passed them by because you drafted Mitch Trubisky instead of drafting a competent quarterback. That's number one. Number two,
Two,
yeah,
two, Mahomes and Watson at the time.
yeah, Mahomes and Watson at the and when we say at the time, we stress with the capital S at the time.
Not only they
So,
drafted Trubisky, they moved up in the draft to take him.
yes. So yeah, at least it proves that you're not playing about trying to develop this young quarterback and trying to get this offense, and you're changing along with the times. Because the formula that you had in 1985 and in 2006 to get you to the Super Bowl, that's not going to work anymore. So I'm glad that they did that, number one. Number two, I think this was the best option for him to go. I mean, you have weapons in place. You have great defensive players in place. The only thing you are missing in Chi-Town, the only thing you missing in the Chi is something that you're known for outside of defense, and that's that O-line. Like I keep saying, people keep talking about the quarterback is the most important position in football. I disagree. It's them big boys in front. Because when them big boys in front and you got a great offensive line, quarterback gonna get his, the running back gonna get his, and as a result of them getting theirs, the receivers are gonna get theirs. If you have any type of competent quarterback. But the only thing that the Chicago Bears are missing at this point is them big boys up front. And they just hired a very good defensive mind. A lot of guys are not meant to be good head coaches, but they can be good defensive coordinator. They just went out and got Dennis Allen from the New Orleans Saints. He's a good defensive mind to go along with Ben Johnson's offense. It's going to be interesting to see who he gets as his offensive coordinator, or if he's just going to be calling all the plays himself. But the thing is this, you have to ask yourself this, is this do or die for that organization? Because the thing is, you haven't had a quarterback in years. You've let good defenses go to waste. So you could fire, like I said, you could fire everybody, including the man that said the popcorn on the third floor in the stadium. until the front office gets right, then you're not going to go anywhere. But I'm glad, especially with them moving into this new stadium in a couple of years, you could best believe that crossed their mind as well. Because, you know, Chicago is building a new stadium, Soldier Field. So I'm glad that they're showing their fans that we're trying to put ourselves in place so we can get this young quarterback the best chance in the world in order to succeed. These weapons, we've already invested in them, in DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze. I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly.
Rome Odunze, yes.
Rome Odunze, you know, Dalton Schultz, guys like that. I'm glad that they're showing that they're not playing as far as the front office is concerned, as far as the coaching is concerned, as far as putting certain pieces in place in order to develop their young quarterback. But the jury's still out, not on Caleb Williams, but at organization. This is 3 straight first-round picks that you've ruined on quarterbacks. And Caleb Williams, this is 2 that you've ruined. Let me take that back. It's 2 that you've ruined. Mitch Trubisky, which the jury was kind of off and on him, Justin Fields, and now Caleb. So if this is the 3rd quarterback that you ruined, it says a lot more about that organization than it does the quarterbacks. Because the same thing was happening last year during the course of this year with Caleb Williams that was happening to Justin Fields last year. So I'm glad that this organization said we're not playing anymore. We're finna change along with the times, bring someone that is modern in this organization, and get our young quarterback to rolling the way we know he can, especially in this division.
Absolutely.
Because you're gonna have to deal with Jordan Love for at least the next 10 years. Who knows what what JJ McCarthy is going to do, if they even stick with him, or Sam Darnold. Who knows what they're going to do? They were great this year. And you got to deal with Jared Goff for at least the next 3 to 4 years. So you're going to need solid quarterback play. That formula that happened in 1985 and in 2006, that's not going to work. You have to get your priorities straight and get this offense to roll.
I think this was a good hire. It's going to take him a lot of work, though, champ. But I will say this. If I'm Dan Campbell, I am concerned because I lost my brilliant offensive mind. I may have the potential of losing my defensive mind in Aaron Glenn. And it's not going to be easy because, again, the NFC North, people have forgotten with Chicago. Before they went on, they were 4-2 at one point.
Mm-hmm.
They were 4-2 at one point. And before that victory against Green Bay in the season finale, they lost 10 consecutive games. 10. They were 4-2, and then unfortunately for them, Tyreek Stevenson, the DC Hail Mary. I think that was the turning point of that season, because from that point, they just couldn't find ways to win. And I think with Caleb Williams, he gets a lot of criticism because of his personality, his style, the way he plays football. On top of that, there were a lot of comparisons with him and Patrick Mahomes. But at the same time, even though he's going to get criticism regardless, you have to look at the Bears organization. They still, to this day, haven't had a success with their quarterback. Washington, believe it or not, as moribund as they've been, they've had some success with quarterback play. I mean, RG3 for 1 year, but we did have Kirk Cousins for a little while, 3 consecutive seasons of 4,000 yards. Before that, we did have Doug Williams. We did have Joe Theismann. And that's shocking to say, though, champ. But with the Bears, they have to realize we got to get ahead of the times. We don't want to forget our defense. We can't ignore defense because defense has been synonymous with Chicago. But the times have evolved. We got to incorporate more of the passing game. I think with Ben Johnson, look, if it doesn't work out for Caleb Williams in Chicago, then honestly, I don't know what to say if you're Chicago. You're going to have to consider firing the GM or somebody else. Somebody else is going to lose their job because I don't know what more could I possibly do. But that's really about it.